Welcome to Coffee and Gumbo, where we talk about all things hot, spicy, and flavorful.
Hello, Coffee and Gumbo family. Welcome
What's
back.
up, CNG fam?
We are back again with another episode. We are just moving along in this channel game, Stacy. This is episode number 3.
Yeah, this is fun.
I know this is fun. This is fun. This is for those of
I
you
love
who didn't get to experience the last one, which was Dream Chaser. You would have heard that this has been a dream of me and Stacy's for a long time. And now it is so wonderful that we are deep into
bringing
it
it
at
to
this
you.
point.
Yes, we're bringing it to you.
Yes. So we have another awesome show today. This is a special, special show. We wanted to pay homage to all the mothers out there in our CNG fam and abroad throughout the world and take a few minutes to just
Love on y'all
love on some mothers. Yes.
and recognize y'all.
Exactly. And we're going to recognize you too because you are a wonderful mother. So today,
Thank you.
I get to have two of the most favorite mothers of mine, and we get to kind of do some interviewing. I'm going to interview you a little bit, and you are going to interview her a little bit. So we're going to do a little round robin here. Okay.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
So y'all know I like to do these long drawn out intros, but this one I got to take my time because when
Take
I
your
say,
time. Like they say in church, take your time.
take your time. Take your time. Because when I say I owe my life to this person, I am not exaggerating because I would truly, physically, mentally, and spiritually not be here if it were not for her. And I am so excited that I get to bring to the CNG family and to the world. And I promise y'all will never be the same after you meet this guest. You will never be the same. I get to bring to you the woman who birthed me, the woman who I look up to every day, who is my shero. And I just wanted to have an opportunity for everybody to experience what I have been blessed to experience my whole life. So
I've experienced a little bit of it.
She has
so
many external children, she can't keep up. So
yeah.
Without further ado, I want to go ahead and introduce you guys to my mother, Miss Maggie Jordan.
Woo!
Yeah.
Everyone.
Say hello to the Coffee and Gumbo family.
Well, hello, Coffee and Gumbo family. This is a treat and a pleasure to be a part of this. And I just want to thank you both for such a warm and I can't say loving, welcoming to come to your program. It's really a blessing.
All right.
We're not gonna fake it. It's all real.
I know. Y'all gonna get the real today because I got some good questions for Miss Stacy, and I believe Miss Stacy has some great questions for my mom.
I sure do.
Okay. So without further ado, we are going to get started.
Yes, get started with this Mother's Day thing.
Yes. So Stacy, why don't we let you go first?
All right. I can do that. So Miss Maggie, tell me, I've had people in my family that, have like all boys, and they tell me, it's been a hectic having all boys. So how has it been raising all girls, 4 beautiful girls? How has that been?
Oh, that's a big one. It's been a blessing. It's been a learning experience. It's been where I feel that I can be a CEO of any kind of company. When you're managing 4 girls with all different personalities, you can do anything. And I always tell people, I think I need a medal. I did.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sure
But
you
it's been a
do.
wonderful experience. I would never trade it for anything in the world. I always tell my children, I think they are my greatest accomplishments.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Well, how do I come behind that with another question? That was a good one.
Yes, it
Hmm.
was. Yes, it was.
So, Stacy, I get to turn the tables a little bit onto you.
Okay. Well,
Okay, because you are a mother too. I want to ask kind of that same question. You have a boy and a girl. So you
mhm,
have one of each. You've been able to experience raising both.
mhm.
I would love to know, was one or the other easier to raise?
I wouldn't say that one was easier than the other because they both, just like you guys, they both are totally different personalities, totally different kids. So I got to experience both sides of it. So I got to experience differences with each one. So I wouldn't say that one was easier than the other because they both were challenging.
Mhm.
But like Ms. May, I always say, my kids are my 401k plan. So
Yeah, me not having children, I'm just gonna take everybody's kids and make them to be my 401k plans because yeah, that's a good thought though. Yes.
oh yeah, that's
Okay.
my retirement plan. I've invested in them all my life.
That's true.
I say that too.
That is
Stacy.
true.
I always tell them this is my investment, and when it's
Yes.
paying off, which it has started, so I will say they are
Mhm.
very wonderful girls to me. So I just love it.
Yes.
Yeah, but it is.
Yes, it is.
Okay, that was round one. Let's keep it going. What you got, Stacy?
All righty. So, like I said before, you have four beautiful, successful girls. But I mean, and I know for me, when my kids were growing up, you always have in your mind, you see their talents and you have in their mind what you want them to be in life or where you want them to be or what you want them to do. I saw, my daughter as a nurse, but she doesn't want to do that. She wants to do something else. So did your kids do what you thought they were going to do and when they were little, coming up and you thought they were going to do this? So were they what you thought they were going to do or what you thought they were going to be?
No, none of them did what I thought they were going to do. None of them. I mean, they're doing what they like and they're doing it really well, but the talents that they displayed when they were growing up, I just thought, oh, they'll be great doing this. I had one that she was like, she could write, I mean, stories and things. I just knew she was going to be a writer, so I'm not doing that. I had one that was a sports fanatic. She could be a sportscaster. She knew every player. She knew their mama. She knew their children. She just knew everything. And she could tell you all their plays. I said, you'll be wonderful doing that. She didn't do that. I had another one that wanted to be a doctor, I thought, because she was so into medicine. So none of my kids did anything that I thought they would do. So that's it, And I was trying to sort of convince them, you're so good at this. Why don't you want to
Yes.
do this? I don't
Yes.
think you don't like this.
Yeah.
And they go ahead and did what they wanted to do, which worked out.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, I went through the same thing with mine. They they did not do what I expected. So,
Yeah.
but hey, I guess the biggest thing is as long as they're happy and they're doing what they like to do. So,
That's what I was gonna say. That's the most important thing, because if you can be happy
right.
with what you're doing, it makes your life so much better and
Yes.
so complete. Because they could have did what I was wanting to do and been miserable. So
Right.
it
Right.
worked out for 'em.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
All right. That's a good one. That was a good one. I'm trying to remember which one of those scenarios she said what I was. I can't even
I can tell
remember.
you, I can
Was
tell
it the
you.
sports?
There was a sport.
I kind of thought that, yes, I was a sports
And
fanatic.
she knew
I
all
knew
the
every
players.
player,
I mean,
every,
she could keep up.
I had
Men didn't have
scrapbooks.
nothing on her doing this.
Wow.
And I am so not in anything related to who that person was.
Wow.
But that just goes to show everybody has their path,
Right. Exactly.
The mothers
Exactly.
instill the tools,
Uh-huh.
allow the child to go for it and do whatever it is that they're supposed to do in life, So,
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Stacy, you back in the hot seat, girl.
Okay.
Okay, so seeing as though you have a daughter, what advice are you going to give her when the time comes where she is about to become a mom? What is the most important thing you feel like you're going to want to instill or place in her heart that's going to carry her through that experience successfully, or to hold on to?
I think I would tell her to make sure to talk with her kids, make sure to have conversations with them, and make sure to have them in an environment to where they're comfortable talking to you. Just make sure that you always know what they're doing, and so that you can be in tune with your kids, spend time with them, because kids will always remember the things that you've done with them, the times you spend with them. And because mine tell me all the time, Mama, remember when we went here, remember we did this. So they'll remember those things, so that will be my advice to her. The biggest thing would just be open, and make sure to have open conversations with her kids.
Okay. That's good. That's good. All right, I'm gonna pass the baton back over to you.
Would you agree, Miss Maggie? Would that be some good advice for me to give to my daughter?
Oh, of course. It really is great advice. I'm much older than you are. So a lot of things, when my children were small, I always had a desire to spend time with them as much time as I could. That's always been a desire for me. But because of life, sometimes you don't get to do that as much as you'd like. When you're working, and then you're trying to deal with 4 different kids with 4 different personalities, and some want to do this and some want to do that. So it kind of keeps you going here and there. But I think it's very important. And what I would tell some mothers, a lot of times we want to give our kids the world. But I tell you, kids like your time. They like to know that you hear them and see them. So those are the really important things. It may not seem like that at the time, but as they grow, you'll really appreciate that you gave them the time, more so than just always trying to buy them something materially. And I feel like that's a good advice. And like you say, to give them the space where they feel that they can talk to you about anything. They don't have to feel like they got to hide things from you, or not be truthful with you about certain things. If they can do that, really good advice, because then they feel really open to talk to you about anything, and they normally appreciate what you have to say.
Right.
Well, maybe not at the moment, but they do appreciate it later.
I think you might regret that, because we call you about every little thing. I mean, I'm sure your phone still rings off the hook, because a lot of times it's like, if we have something, we might know something that's happening with each other, and the first thing we want to do is tell our mom. So I think that she definitely did instill that in us, the ability to feel like that's a safe place. And I think that thinking of myself as a child, you always need that safe space where you can say what you need to say, or what your insecurities may be, and that one person in your life is going to be there and give you that reassurance or advice, and help you through it. So I definitely
not judge you.
And not judge you. Exactly. And no judgment zone with your mama. That's right. What I think needs to where that needs to be your safe place to land as a child. Right. All right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Moving on to another question for Stacy. I know your mom is not here anymore, but I know she watches over you all the time. So I would love to know, what was the most important advice or lesson that your mom gave you?
I would say, I mean, it sounds like it's kind of cliche, but she always told me to be honest no matter what, and tell the truth. She said, even if you're going to get in trouble, always tell the truth, because a lie is always going to come back to bite you in the what. So she's like, no matter what, always be honest. And she also told me, and I try to instill this in my kids as well, too. Leave stuff how you found it. If you can't leave it how you found it, find a way to make it better. So if you go to somebody's house and you find that they're you go to use their bathroom, make sure you clean the bathroom when you're done. And if you found it not clean, find a way to help them to clean it, you know? So if you can't put it back like it was, find a way to make it better.
I like that.
I do too.
Yeah.
Just as a side note, Stacy, I used to tell my kids that because even though everything may not be in the right place, but when I have certain things, I have a place for them. My hair, my combs, my brushes, my scissors, my this, I know where they are. If I have candles, I can find things in the dark. I can find candles, I can find matches because I just know where it is. But your kids come along, look, can I use your this? Never put anything back. When you go to, it's never there. And so
I always know when my kids have used my bathroom.
I know, you just know because
they're not gonna put nothing back like it was. So I already know I can come home and like, who was in my bathroom? Like, I already know.
And I did not understand that until I got grown and had my own house, that yes, you want things to be in their place where you left them. And I find myself, you know, me and my sisters, we have this thing, we call it Maggie-isms. Her voice constantly plays in my head. And it's like so funny because that's one of the things I definitely know I took on as a trait from her is like, I want things in their place where I left them. And every time that doesn't happen, I say, oh, I sound like my mama.
If you go in that kitchen and find it clean, when you get done, it better be clean when you finish.
Ain't that the truth? And I can also attest that Stacy is brutally honest. So mama, she learned that lesson because she will tell you the truth, whether you want to hear it or not.
I sure will.
That lesson was fully learned.
And I'm gonna tell the truth too, whether you want to hear it or not. If you don't like it, oh well, you know. Hey, you know, and it's so bad because when I was younger, like if I'm with my friends and we get in trouble when we trying to make up a story to tell or a lie to tell, they would tell me, "You just be quiet, don't say."
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna mess it up every time. So you just be quiet, let us tell the story. Yep.
All right.
So, all right, Miss Maggie, tell me, what has been your most memorable moment as a mom?
Stacy, there's a lot of those things.
I'm sure it is.
Oh, I look back over time and I see, you know, it's just so many different things that's been memorable. Hard to say. Sometimes I say it's memorable that I made it through to get everybody grown. So that was memorable, you know, to know that everybody came out in one piece, you know, and still, you know, we love each other, we still have fun together and we can laugh and joke and do whatever. So that's wonderful. But I'm just trying to think of one thing that I can think that's memorable. And that's hard. That's a hard question, Stacy. It's
okay. Well, you can always say one of them, the most memorable was one with me, you know. when you got to hang out with me.
That is true. That is very true. You and some of my other children that I have. Yeah, I don't know. That's a question I can't answer because it's just so many things that I think about. I've done individual things with my children. I've had just the greatest experience with it, and I just keep thinking about it, how much fun it was, and that was just so great. I did things with all of them that's been really great. That's really a hard question for me. And why? Because I can talk and I can, but I
know I'm surprised she doesn't have 1,000
because
options in her back pocket.
And when Patrice was talking about the Maggieism, they gave me a book one year. I think it was and I started to bring it. But in this book, and they wrote it out. They had pictures in the book, but certain things they would say, I forget how it said, like they'll say, Maggie said whatever, a Maggieism, and I had plenty of them. I just, they knew certain things I was gonna say. I don't know if Patrice could.
I'll give you a few. Let me give you a few. I know there's one saying, and it's and again, every time we all say it, like, oh my God, we are our mother. She always used to tell us, follow your first. I should have followed my first mind.
Now, what that meant, who knows? It's just
I know what it
you
meant.
think.
It meant whatever you were thinking, what that first thought was, you should have went with it. And then you talked yourself out of it and did something else, and it didn't come out the way it was supposed to. You had just followed your first mind. Ooh,
Yep.
I tell you, she would say that over and over again.
Tell me something, I say you should have followed
Your first mind.
you know?
So that's one Maggie is. And then anytime you said something negative, don't put that in the air. Don't put that in the air.
Yeah.
Words have meaning. Don't put that in the air, you know? And I learned a lot from that about speaking positivity and putting out there the things that you want to do and letting it manifest. You know, there were lessons in all of these little Maggie-isms that we got, little, you know, like I say, I call all the time, little nuggets she threw at us all the time. But
because I really believe positivity is a good thing. And I was talking to one of my daughters because she's planning a wedding. And so many moving parts to put a wedding together that's even know about, or maybe it's just passing my time. People do it now different than when I was younger. But I was telling her not to get upset about certain things because things are, you know, you have no control of everything that's going to happen. And I was kind of helping her to appreciate. And she was saying, oh, this, that, and I said, don't say that. You put all the positive things out there. This is going to take place. Everybody's going to show up. Everybody's going to be where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be there. And I truly believe that when you put that in the atmosphere and you put that out, those are the things that come back to you. Whereas if you put, this is so bad and this is so this, and that's going to come back to you too. So I think it's a great thing to do, to learn to be positive when you speak about yourself or anybody for that fact.
Yeah, I agree, Miss Maggie. I agree. Yeah.
okay, let's put the focus back on Stacy. I would love to know what was the biggest challenge that you faced raising those two wonderful children who I love so much.
Ooh-wee. I'm like Miss Maggie. I done had a bunch of them. I guess for me, the biggest challenge would have been like when my mom passed away, she was my help because I'm an only child. I mean, I have siblings, but I'm my mom's only child. So after my mom passed away, I didn't have any help with my kids because being a single parent is you can't do everything by yourself. And so I think for me, that was a huge challenge, you know, finding, you know, help, or, you know, like if I had to go out of town for work or something and had to bother somebody or find somebody to keep the kids, or, you know, whatever the situation may be. So that was, you know, that was always a challenge, you know, finding help and, you know, finding somebody that you can trust.
Right.
To kind of to help you out in those times when you need. And, you know, I'm just thankful, you know, that everything always fell in place for me when I needed something. Right. So I felt like I still, you know, I had my guardian angel watching over me, right? You know, because when I faced those challenges, things always seemed to fall in place when I needed them to. So,
okay,
that's good.
Yep. What would you say, speaking of challenges, Miss Maggie, what would you say was a big challenge for you when you were raising your girls?
Well, I had lots of them because the first part of my life, I was married, and during part of that, I ended up getting a divorce. So we had all these kids. But the thing about it, when you go through a divorce after being married for a lot of years, and life takes a 365-degree change. So you have to change your mindset, but sometimes that doesn't automatically come right away. You still figure out things you never had to do, because prior to that divorce, I never worked. My ex-husband didn't want me to work, so I never worked. So there was a whole lot of things that I had to make a change, but I had to think about how to do it. Because when you've had a lot of years just raising your kids and taking care of your family, you know, to start from scratch. And so I was telling one of my daughters not too long ago that part of the time when they were growing up, when they were younger, I felt like I was always in survival mode because trying to figure out how to navigate the fact I worked, and sometimes I would work 2 jobs. So when you're working 2 jobs and you have children and you worry about, about, am I giving them enough time? Am I
Right.
providing for them the way they should be provided for? I was doing the best that I could, but the thing is, you still worry about that, and you still sometimes doubt yourself as being the best parent that you can be. So with that, those were a lot of challenges. And when I look back now, I think of things I might have done, because, some things are out of your control. You can only do the best that you can. And some things you have to say, well, I've done the best I can. I can't do this and I can't do that. And that would alleviate some of the pressure you have on yourself. But until you know that, you only know what you know. And so I was always worrying, I want them to have this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And, sometimes I couldn't do it. So it always felt like sometimes I was trying to maneuver things to get things done. That's why I say I felt like I was always in survival mode.
Yeah.
So,
And
but it still worked out because I always had a sense of humor. So we could laugh about things that we didn't have or things that we wanted to have. And the little things we had, it was just a lot of fun. So that made it good. And then also, I had some great kids because even though they were accustomed to a lot of different things when their dad was there that we couldn't do anymore. And they weren't complaining, they didn't say, well, Mama, why can't we do this? Or why can't we have this? I mean, that took a lot of pressure off me because my kids are kind of spread out in age too. I got 2 older ones, and I got a middle one, and I got 4 sets of kids because they, spread out in age. So that helped me a lot because I didn't have to worry about a kid telling me you don't do this for me. I can't do this, because they were very good kids. And so I really feel really blessed that I had these kids, and I really feel blessed that they are the kind of kids that they are. So those were some of my challenges. And as time went on, it got much, much better. I could look back and see maybe I could have did some things differently, but life is how it is. You make mistakes, you struggle, you make changes, and you keep going because that's what life is, right? Yeah. So
yes, and then I commend you.
Wonderful experience, though.
I commend you because you actually went back to school, right?
I did. I went.
See?
I got my degree. I went
Look
to
at that.
2 degrees. I had said that, I always wanted to finish it. I mean, I went to a junior college when I first got out of school, but I got married, and then after married, I started having children. Never did do it, and it was just a personal goal of mine to get my degree. And so I think after my oldest daughter finished, I said, well, I'm gonna go back to school. I didn't do. Then after Patrice, I was gonna do it. I said, now when my third daughter was getting ready, she was still in high school. I said, look, I'm going back to school. She still graduated, and I did, but I said, I'm not gonna let this youngest child, and I don't go back. So I did that, and I got the first degree, and then I went back and got another one.
Absolutely. That is wonderful.
Beautiful thing to see you
that is
do
wonderful.
that.
Yes.
And I just want to add on to what we were discussing, just as a child or a daughter, just to moms out there. My mom, like she said, she had to kind of pivot and change everything she knew. And I know she probably, and parents out there, when you have to do what you have to do, you're thinking, oh, I feel so guilty. But just remember that your kids are watching you, because I believe me and my sisters learn our work ethic that we had through watching her get up and go to work and do what she had to do without complaint. And so even in the rough times, you're teaching your children something as well. And it may not be how you want to teach them, but they're getting something. So you're setting that example that I promise you down the road, it will help them, even though you may feel like it was a hindrance or that you weren't there enough. So I think kids take great lessons even out of tough times.
Well, I must have sent mine the wrong message, because my kids, they always thought we was rich and we had money and I could give them whatever they wanted. So I was sending the wrong message.
No, we had to work. I mean, we all had things, and she was out there making the money there. Everybody had a role in our little house there, so I felt like she said, she was running a little company.
Mhm.
Okay. And we were the children, but we were sometimes the employees,
Yeah.
make sure this stuff is taken care of. And I keep that with me. You know, I'm a task person. I like to get things done. I like to work. I like to make sure things are happening. And I think I got that from that time of watching her and her kind of hurting us and making sure that we were getting the things done we needed to get done.
Yeah.
So like I
Yes,
just
and
encourage
same
them.
way with me. Yeah, because I saw my mom work, you know, to help put me through college and
Right.
you know, and do all kinds of odds and ends job, you know, just to kind of make ends meet or whatever. But you know, I think it's a little bit different these days.
Yeah,
It is.
I was gonna say too, with my kids, even though I worked a lot, but I've always been the type of parent, and I guess this came from the way I was raised. You know, sometimes you just kind of do what you accustomed to doing and what happened. I always insisted, you know, I worked a lot, I was the parent, so I always wanted them to understand that there are certain things we're going to do, there are certain boundaries we don't cross, there are certain things have to go a certain way. And
Right.
this was something I stood by. I mean, they probably didn't appreciate it when they was doing it, but they learned those things, and I can see it in their lives today. And as far as work, I may have showed them too much because these girls work hard and they work a lot. So, you know, they're always doing some project or doing this thing and doing that thing. And I have to tell them, you gotta rest every time I see you working, you know. So, but I do think that because I was consistent in certain things, that along with them watching me or seeing other people do certain things and being persistent in how I felt like kids, you know, I felt like kids they have to know that there are certain boundaries that they can go across and some things they cannot do because it's not going to be tolerated. And so they learned how to be persistent in their work. They learned how to put things together and follow certain rules that work very good for them. So I do appreciate that. And I learned that too when I was growing up because, you know, you could play some, you could do your homework, you did your housework, but it all works out good because that gave you a more rounded way of thinking. You know, you didn't think you were going to play all the time. You didn't think you was going to get everything all the time. You had certain things you had to do to make it a more balanced life.
Right.
And you had to watch your little sisters. I didn't mind though, most of the time.
Yeah. Catrice is one of those, you know, she's all of them are caring, but she's a really caring person because, like I said, my kids are kind of spaced out. And she, on my youngest daughter, I mean, she realized that because I was by myself and I had to work a lot, she really helped me with that, my youngest daughter. And she's done that with all the kids. And she does that with her nieces and nephews. And just all, you know, she's just like that. She just, I can't speak enough about how kind and how she is with kids and how she takes time to really show them affection and show them how much she cares about them. She does. And she's always.
Yes, because my kids love their Aunt Catrice.
Oh, I know. And I didn't ever want her to think that she had to do that because these are my children. So I didn't ever want any of my kids to feel like they are, you know, they got to take care of this little sister or that because you know, that's not their kids. But Treese would just volunteer and do stuff. You know, I'm gonna take care of Lexi, that's the baby girl. I'm gonna do this, Mama, and I'm gonna do this. And I mean, it was so helpful to me, but I just thought it was so helpful that she would take the time to do that.
The key was that I could give them back. I can always give them back. Yeah, I can do anything for a short period of time. I give you guys all of the kudos because you don't get to send them back. They are yours when nobody else is stepping up to say I'll help or let me take them for a day. Y'all don't have that same opportunity. So I love children, even though I don't have any of my own. I feel like I have 100, but the mothers that do it day in and day out, I just think the world of all of you mothers. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are awesome. All right, this has been some great conversation. I have another question for you, Stacy. We have talked about in detail what were the challenges, but I want to know what has been your biggest joy as a mother.
Man, so just being a mother is a joy for me. Every day I get to spend with my, even though they're not kids anymore, but every day I get to spend with them is a joy for me.
Mhm.
There's no specific time, that one joy is more than, even though they may be different, but
Mhm.
they're all joyous times to me.
Okay.
Hmm. Yeah. What
Maggie?
about you, Miss Maggie?
Yeah, I feel that way too. Now, I won't say sometimes as adults, they don't work my nerves sometimes. But anyway, because when they get older, they want to be your mother after that. They want to tell you how to do things,
I think I was just telling her what to do earlier today.
take over your life and do it. So, but it's a joy because I really enjoy being around my girls. I always tell people, even if they weren't my children, I think they could be my friends if I were,
Mhm.
they may not be because I'm much older than them, but they could be my friends because I just enjoy their company. And I've done so many things with them together and by themselves. I've traveled with probably 3 of them before, just us, and we've traveled collectively together. We do
Mhm.
go out and do stuff. I have one daughter I can go to a comedy club with, one I can go out dancing with, one. I mean, so I just enjoy my children. I really enjoy my children because everybody who knows me, and I know where I've worked, go to my church, I don't care where it is. The first thing they know, I got 4 daughters.
Mhm.
I'm always talking about my daughters. So everybody will tell me, yes, we know she got 4 daughters. So because
So
it's
tell me,
pride and
Miss
joy.
Maggie, how do you draw that line? Because I think nowadays
Mhm.
sometimes that can be a negative where the parents want to be their child's friend. So where is it that you draw that line? Like I guess like you were saying boundaries, because sometimes that can't not be
Mhm.
such a good thing to where just you want to be your child's friend.
Right. Well, I wasn't too much trying to be their friend when they were
I was
younger.
gonna say,
I
we
was being
were
that
not
mom.
friends when we were
Yeah, we were.
younger.
That's why I say
Mm-mm.
I had boundaries back then. You know,
Yeah.
I've had friends that tell me, "Girl, my daughter told me this, or my son told me." She said, and I'm just saying. I be saying, "So that ain't gonna happen in my household. No, they ain't gonna talk to me like that. That is not going to happen." And I mean,
Right.
I'm not a person that's gonna scream and holler. I've never been that way. Just scream and holler at my kids. I'm not gonna be a brutal, but I always they knew when I said something, I meant what I said, and I didn't fall back and say, okay, that's okay. No, if I said it yesterday, it's gonna be the same day, the next day. So we weren't
Yes.
say friends then. I was strictly the mama. But as they grew older, and the relationship started to change a little bit because they would say, "Mama, you want to go here with me or something?" Or I say, "I'm going here," and they go. So it got to be like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we could be friends then because we're all adults now. But as
Right.
I had to, they had to realize that as I was saying, I'm running things here.
Hmm.
It ain't we ain't sharing that position. I'm running these things when they were kids. Now,
Absolutely.
so
I I tell my kids all the time, you gotta I say what I say and I mean what I say. So you gotta, you know, say what you mean and mean what you say.
Mm-hmm.
and I
Don't
look
ask
I
again.
look at a lot of parents probably in your age groups, Stacy, with their kids. I think people have the right to raise their kids they want to raise, and I don't try to say anything. But when they say, "Yeah, I always have to tell them," they don't do it. But see, I don't fault the kids. I think the parents because they know the parents don't really mean what they say. If
Hmm.
I say you're gonna wash dishes on Thursdays, I mean Thursdays is gonna be your dish day. You know what I'm saying? This is what we gonna see. Those dishes gonna be washed on Thursday. Now, maybe you may not get it done when you say it, but it's gonna get done. So if you tell kids to do this, but then 2 days later, okay, you don't have to do it. You kind of give them mixed signals. So
Yeah.
you're not being consistent. Like I would tell my kids when they're little, you're not gonna jump and walk on my couches. You're not tearing up my furniture, and that's not gonna happen no day of the week.
Hmm.
So you don't let them
Right.
jump on it on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, no, you can't do it because you're confusing them like that.
Hmm.
We had a room
Absolutely.
in our house that was not to be even looked at too hard. That had
Yeah, we did.
nice furniture.
When I was growing up. Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Couldn't
You
even go.
walk past it, you want to go in there so bad, but nobody
Yeah.
can push you in there because you
Only
didn't want
go
to
in
be
there when
caught.
company comes.
Exactly,
But
exactly.
I like my whole house to be right. I didn't want them. They didn't. You still. I don't care what part of the house you was. you can have toys out, and then when you finish the toys, you put the toys up and put them back where they're supposed to be. But
Right.
I've never been a believer of telling kids one thing, and then because you tired or you don't feel like doing it, you say, well, no, that's okay, just go and do it, because you're hurting them. And eventually it's gonna hurt you, because then they don't want to do what you say do, because you have not been consistent in what you've been telling them.
Right.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I hate is, to see kids embarrass their parents in public.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That bothers me so bad, because I feel so bad, for the parents. Like,
I used to be a waitress one time. That was my second job. I had two jobs. So at night I'd be a waitress. And I work on Sundays sometime. And when people bring all their kids in this restaurant,
yeah.
those kids would be holy terror. They'd be walking, I just, oh my God. And the parents would always like me, so they want to sit in my section. And I'd be saying to myself, here comes so-and-so. But then they would always say, I just don't know why Johnny is doing all this. And I say to myself, Johnny was doing that at home. That's why he's doing it. Johnny been doing this all the time. So this ain't nothing new for Johnny. This is what he does.
So you say this, like the old saying, you say it starts at home.
Oh, now whether that's right or wrong, I definitely believe that it starts at home. Yeah, I definitely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that.
Well, I'm gonna interview my mom with 2 questions before we close this thing out. So my mom was the neighborhood mom. Our house was where every child just wanted to be. She has this thing about our friends make her their second mom. What is it that you think is about you that makes people or wanna, see you in that motherly way? Every friend I make, the minute they meet my mom, are like, oh no, she's my mom too. What is it do you think that you have that instills that?
Now I don't know. When they were younger, the kids would come over and see, because I love music. I've always loved music and stuff like that. And they want to play the music. I knew more music than they knew. And so they just liked it, because I always believed in talking to children, just trying to find out what's going on in their mind. Sometimes they didn't realize they was telling me much more stuff than they planned to tell me. So I just always believed in that. So they felt comfortable with me. But they had rules here. You gotta sit here, you can't be going to the bedroom, you can't be doing this, you're gonna stay right here where I can see you. So I think that's why they would gravitate toward me, because we could have fun. They could come over our house, we could play music, we could eat and joke and laugh and stuff. It was a very easy kind of way to do things. But as an adult now that I'm older, and I don't know why I get, but I know their friends, all their friends say, this is gonna be my mama too. So and so. But even when I worked, I have customers, they don't take me as their mama, but they always say, oh, you could be my best friend. I don't even know these people. But anyway, I just be talking to them about what I'm talking about. So it may be, I remember I had 2 customers, they said, you have such an easy way of talking to people, and you make people feel so comfortable and you feel at ease. So I think maybe that's what it is.
And you have a kind spirit, Miss Maggie.
Yes, I've been told that too. So
yes.
That's what it is that draw people to me, because I love people, I really do. And I like to see the best for
me too.
Yeah, I really do. And so maybe that's kind of what it is. I'm empathetic, and I just want to see people happy and stuff like that. So
and then you show kids that you care about them, because I remember my kids, they had a friend, a little boy, and he would always come over, play basketball, and then they would be playing basketball, and the little boy just be cursing, and I said, wait a minute, I said, come here, and I just had a conversation with him, like, I said, what is it? Why do you think that you have to say these words? And I said, you cannot come over here talking like that. You cannot be in my yard cursing like that. I said, you have to stop that. I said, that is not nice. And then the next time he came over, he ran to me. And he was like, Miss Stacy, I didn't curse this time. I didn't curse. Just to show interest and show them that you care.
Right. Yeah. That is true. That is very true.
Yeah, they need that.
I worked in the school district for about a year. No, not a year, or just about half a year. And I had these 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, but it was in a part of town that was in 5th Ward. And I'm not really from Texas, Houston, so I didn't know the area that much. But people, the other teachers say, now those kids are rough, so don't get all involved with them. Just do what you got to do and stuff like that. But that's not my personality. And some of those kids had never had the opportunity. They only were aware of the surroundings that they lived in, which was Fifth Ward. I think it was Fifth Ward or something, but like that. And so when they would come to my class, first off, sometimes they'd come in with an attitude, you know, doing all this stuff. And I would stop at the door. I said, wait a minute now, you in Miss George's class. So this all got to change. When you come in this class, you got to put a smile on your face, sit at the seat that I assigned to you, and this is how this is going to work out. So they were looking at wow, those kids, I'm telling you, they would tell me, I would buy them little snacks and I would bring magazines to them so they could see that there's a bigger world than where they live at. And these are things that they could aspire to if they, took care of the things they got to do now. And I gave them a party one time. It's at the end of the school year. And they was going, Miss Jordan, I got some food stamps. Mama got food stamps. I'm going to bring them so you can I said, honey, I don't need your food. No, you ain't got to do all that. Yeah, Miss Jordan, I'm going to do this. So kids want to know that you care about that.
Right.
Absolutely.
You can break down a lot of those barriers.
Well, that was good, Mom. I have one more question and then one other thing, and then we definitely going to close this out because I could keep talking to my mother all day long like I do all the time. So think hard about this question. This one it shouldn't be tough for you to answer, but let me put it out there. So I would love to know who your favorite daughter is.
Miss Maggie, don't answer that. She's trying to put you She's trying to put you in that trick bag, Miss Maggie. Don't answer the question.
Yeah. So you're saying you're not going to answer that question?
I always tell you I don't have a favorite.
Coffee and Gumbo fam, y'all know who her favorite is. We don't even need to.
I have no favorite.
It's okay, Maggie. You don't have to say. It's all right. It's all right.
I'm the favorite. How about
that? She has so many. I know it's hard to choose. But anyway, this has been so wonderful.
Well, wait.
Say that this is not only Mother's. What you got something to say?
Yes, before we go,
okay.
We need to wish Miss Maggie a happy birthday.
I was getting ready to get there. I was gonna say, not only is this the Mother's Day edition of Coffee and Gumbo, this is also the week of my mom's birthday. So everybody, I want y'all to wish my mom a birthday, and she is 75 years young. Yes, I said 75. That's what 75 is looking like. And I am so thankful that I have her genes, and I'm praying that when I get to her age that I look this good. So
happy birthday, Mama.
Happy birthday, Mommy.
Happy birthday.
So sweet.
And I am just, as your daughter, I am so thankful to call you my mother. And I thank you for all the lessons, all the fussings. I wouldn't change none of it. All the discipline, every last minute of it, I would not change one thing. And you are, I know, and are going to be an inspiration to the young mothers out there who are just trying to end this thing, trying to figure it out. I think the mothers that have been in the game, in the mothering game, going to be like, oh yeah, she said that. Oh yeah, that's so true. I think there was something here for everybody, but we just wanted to take the time to just provide a little bit of inspiration and a little bit of thank you out there. It's because mothers just, they don't get enough credit for what y'all do. Y'all produce people who change the world and make the world happen.
That's true.
Even in small, big, medium ways. And I personally just want to thank both of you for what you guys do with your tribes every day, and to all the Coffee and Gumbo fam, to all the mothers that we have, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Stacy, I don't want to take, is there anything you want to say to close us out?
Nope. Thank you, Miss Maggie. I appreciate you. We loved having you on as always, and enjoy your Mother's Day because you
Thank you
deserve
so much. And I love you both. And I thank you for giving me the time to spend with you all. It's been really fun. I mean, there's so many things I could think about to say, but in the time we had, it's been a fun experience. And I just thank you all for it. And I love you both.
it. We love you too.
You back. Thank you so much. We're gonna let you go so we can close out this episode of Coffee and Gumbo. See you later, Mama.
Bye.
Bye, Miss Maggie.
Have a good evening. And to all your listeners and watchers, happy Mother's Day. And just keep doing the good job that y'all doing. I know you all are special and you are doing wonderful jobs. Don't let it get discouraged. Just take a deep breath sometimes and just think you have these children, you have a life ahead of you. So just keep doing what you're doing.
All right. Thank you, Mama Maggie. See you later. Oh, my mommy, that was so good.
Hey, man, I want to be like Miss Maggie when I get 75. Baby, that is inspiration. Ooh,
Oh,
she
yes.
looks awesome. Awesome.
Oh, yes.
Telling
I am so proud of my mom, and I hope everybody enjoyed having a little piece of Miss Maggie in your life.
That's right. And you know, even though my mom is not here with me anymore, you know, I'm very thankful for how I was raised. I wouldn't change it for nothing. I wouldn't change anything about it. You know, and for all the mothers out there that are like me and your mother is no longer with you, just know that, you know, you just like I feel like, you know, there's always that guardian angel that's always going to be watching over you. You always have her spirit with you, and just always take the good times and just remember all the good times that you've shared and take those good memories with you, and make happy moments out of it. You know, take the time on Mother's Day to not be sad. You know, just take the time to reminisce and think about all the good things, you know, that you share with your mom and all the wonderful things that she has taught you along the way, and just to be thankful, you know, not be sad, but just be thankful and be able to smile about it.
That's awesome, Stacy. And if you don't have your mom, go find you a Miss Maggie. She'll be there for you. I'll loan her out to you. I'll loan her out to everybody.
Yes, she will, because you know, not only do I have a Miss Maggie, I got plenty other moms that stepped in. You know, my friend Tasha's mom, you know, Betty in Louisiana, you know, I have a lot of moms that actually stepped in, you know, for me. So I really do appreciate them as well. So.
All right. Well, you know, I so want to tease our next episode, but you don't be wanting me to have fun and tell people what we're doing next, but I'm still gonna tease it just a little bit. Just give me a little bit, Stacy. Okay.
Just a little.
All right. So coming up next with Coffee and Gumbo, we are going to start our Step in My Shoes series. Why do we call it Step in My Shoes? Because my co-host
we don't call it
wrote a little book called Step in My Shoes. Yes, she is an author. She is that one there. She's an author. And we are going to take a page from her book, a chapter, and we're going to dig deep into it. And we're going to talk a little bit about guilty pleasures. And I'm going to leave it at that. That's enough of a teaser, probably too much, but come back for the next episode, because you do not want to miss this. You do not want to miss this. And you don't want to miss this book. Okay, so we're going to make sure we tell you guys how to get your hands on this book. It will change your life. All right, Coffee and Gumbo.
All right, CNG fam. Yes.
We love you. Thank
Happy
you for
Mother's
joining
Day
us. Happy Mother's Day to each and every one of you. Me as a godmom, auntie mama, to all the auntie mamas out there, y'all have a place too. We help out. We do our little thing too. Okay. So with that, we always want to leave with something positive. So as we typically tell you, take time to take care of yourself. You only got one you. So make sure that you love and take care of you, especially you mothers out there. Even though your job is tough, you need to take a few minutes here and there just to take care of you.
And
Stacy?
also take some time to share that love to somebody else as well. Spread the love.
All right. We are out.
See you next
See
time.
y'all later. Bye.
Thanks for watching Coffee and Gumbo. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Come back soon for more hot, spicy, and flavorful conversation.